the Tri-State Audi Knicks postgame show. Alec Burks for the Knicks, 13 of his 15 in the fourth quarter. The bench getting it done again, getting the Knicks up by 6 with 5 minutes to go. But down 4 and with the ball, Derrick Rose picked off, about 30 seconds to go. Jalen Suggs to Wendell Carter, and that was that. Magic, for the second time this year, win at MSG, beating the Knicks 104-98 in the final. Great to have you with us, everybody, from our Delta MSG studios. Bill Pito, along with Monica McNutt and Wally Zerbiak. Don't blame me.
I was going to let it go. I was going to be mature about it, Wally.
I had the other night off, and the Knicks won.
Although we're here and we lost, Monica.
It's true.
So let's keep that fair.
It's true. Fair enough. Fair enough.
The Magic, Wally, they've won 4 games. 2 of the 4 wins have come here at MSG.
Yikes, that is not good. And you have to defend home court in this really, really tough Eastern Conference where there's so much parity, there's so many good teams. You have to take care of business at home, and you have to have a presence when you step on your home floor. I mean, the energy is outstanding in the building. It looked like in the first half the Knicks would build a 6-point lead. They should put the Magic away. They didn't do it. This Magic team plays hard.
Yeah.
I mean, we said Jalen Suggs, he's got some Jason Kidd in him. If it's a close game, he's going to make a lot of those close plays, a lot of those little things to help his team win. And that team is young, but that team looked more poised down the stretch than the Knicks did, and that's a problem. We thought the Knicks figured something out in the fourth quarter last game. Shows they didn't. They got to get back to the drawing board and figure out a way to defend home court.
What is it, Monica?
Julius Randle's not playing well.
Well, he barely played, Monica, in the fourth quarter. He played the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, and that was it.
Between the 2 games, the win the other night versus the Pacers, and then, of course, the loss tonight, you can see there is still some question marks surrounding who is trusted enough to be on the floor in the fourth quarter. And I think that continuity and that question still going unanswered right now, in terms of rhythm, guys haven't been able to find their rhythm. Because I thought the group that went on the 12-2 run that put the Knicks up 6 with about, I think you said it was about 5 minutes or so to go.
Burks running the point there.
Burks was running the point. Now, just from an ebb and flow of the game standpoint, those guys needed a breather. But you also knew that he was going to go, Tibbs was probably going to go back to his starters and go back with Randle, who had not had a very good game to that point. But those guys are they too gassed to finish out the game at that point? I think the trust in who can be on the floor to close the game, that question has just not been answered flat out.
It's interesting, Wally, because it's clear that Fournier and Walker do not figure into the final minute rotation. If you're going to have starters that don't fit into that, and you're the coach, that really makes things complicated, doesn't it?
They're in a tough spot. They really are. They're new, obviously, to this system, and Tom Thibodeau as a coach. They're trying to figure things out, and that starting unit's really struggling. And it starts with R.J. Barrett and Randle. They're not shooting the ball great. So that makes it really tough on Fournier and also Kemba Walker to figure out, how they fit. Because, the totem pole or the pecking order should be Randle, Barrett, Fournier, Kemba, and then the bench. But right now, it's just so upside down. And I give Coach Thibodeau a lot of credit because he doesn't care what you did last year. He doesn't care how much money you make. He doesn't care if you were an all-star. He's going to play the guys down the stretch that deserve to play, that showed him in this game that they played well. And that's how you coach a team. You have to hold each guy to a certain standard where you're not just going to see the floor if you're not playing well, you're not playing defense, you're not playing hard, you're not rebounding. And that unit that got him back into the game, led by Obi Toppin's energy, led by Mitchell Robinson diving all over the place quickly, and Alec Burks, that's the team that got him back in the game. Now, I understand why he went back to Randle, because Randle's his guy, but you have to figure out a way to get Randle to be that guy that he was last year, this year in the fourth quarter.
There's 2 things that are glaring. So far, we've seen this team has been willing to live and die by the 3. At halftime, they were 6 of 22 from behind the 3. On the game, they were 16 of 49, okay? Now, during the course of that run, you hit some big 3s, but overall, Barrett, Randle, nobody's shooting the 3 particularly well in terms of that being a weapon. But then the second thing that I look at is they're still in the half-court set, Wally, it is too stagnant and predictable.
Yeah.
And when it works in the first and second quarter and you're up 7 or it's an ebb and flow of the game, it becomes painfully evident in the fourth after a turnover or 2 and you need a basket and the defense is just sitting on all of your options.
All right, Obi Toppin was electric. Tied a season high with 14. I mentioned Burks had 13 in the fourth quarter. He tied a season high with 15 for the game. And with those 2 leading the way, the Knicks had a decent chunk of an advantage with about 5 minutes to go. Wally, take us down the stretch. They couldn't hold the lead.
Yeah, and You know, they bottled up Terrence Ross. They did a great job on Cole Anthony, who torched him last time. Obi Toppin knocks down that big three. He made 2 threes in this game when he's been really struggling from the three-point line. That was a huge shot. That Toppin three made it a 3-point game. Then Barrett with the drive, 1-point game. And then Toppin with a big three here. Woo! 5-point lead for the Knicks. I mean, the Knicks are on fire with this group. Alec Burks just coming off that screen that Mitchell Robinson was setting. One thing about Mitch, he sets a really good screen. That three put them up 6. That's the one we were talking about. But how about Jalen Suggs? He's been struggling mightily from the three-point line. Went 3 for 4 from 3 in this game. He got right. Here's Emmanuel quickly with the bad pass. Terrence Ross showing that he was the slam dunk champ. Elevation taken off on that big-time slam. 1-point game.
This was ugly.
And Franz Wagner. Posterization.
They were down 1 when he did that.
Yes, and that was such a big, huge bucket. And then the turnover from Derrick Rose, and that turned it into a big steal. Carter jam. That was a 6-point lead. I got to be honest, these kids on Orlando, they have no fear.
Zero.
They play with zero fear. They're very well coached. They've been in big games in college, and they don't care. They came into Madison Square Garden. They played against proven veterans in the NBA, and they've beaten the Knicks twice on their home floor in this early season. They're only going to be at Madison Square Garden twice all year. They won both games. That's a big problem, the way the Knicks are not defending their home floor.
When the Knicks were at Orlando, they won that game October 22nd, 2 nights before the Magic won here. The Knicks set a franchise record with 24 made threes. They attempted 54. You mentioned they attempted 49 tonight. Now, Burks didn't have the greatest shooting percentage, but he did pretty well from downtown. The question is, are they taking too many threes? Are they settling for the 3 ball instead of working some more half-court offense?
I think they are.
Philosophically, it feels like that is the approach this year, right? And I think listen, while he was a terrific shooter at a different level, at my level, I love 3-point shooting. I would be more comfortable with living and dying by the 3 if there was still more creativity in the offense.
Yes, you got to take good shots.
Right, the 3 comes off a screen, we're going to jack it up, we're down at the end of the shot clock, we're going to jack it up, we just go to it, as opposed to giving some actual action. Because if we look at Obi, we've talked about Obi a lot tonight. Every time he got a basket, he's either cutting, he's coming off hard off a curl, diving hard, and just that energy, to me, even if you're one of the 1 through 5 starters, if you're moving around the floor with that kind of energy, you're going to find the basket too.
Now, it worked with Burks from downtown.
Those are good shots. Those are screens coming off a pick and roll. That's the NBA game. Alec Burks can run the point. There's a little penetration. That was a nice little dipsy-do, a la Michael Jordan with that one. But see, look at the quality of these shots. You break down the defense, you get in the paint, kick out, wide open 3. Comes off a screen. Mitchell Robinson sends a great screen, walks into a wide open 3. These are the good threes that you want to take. That was the tough one.
That was tough.
I mean, he was trying to draw a foul. That was kind of like a heave-ho, and it ended up going in. But I just like the way he plays. I like the confidence he plays with. And I like the size that he has. It's important to have size when you're handling the ball, especially at the end of the game. Double teams come, you can find open cutters, you can find open shooters. I trust the ball in his hands. He's turning into the closer for the Knicks.